Hi guys, welcome to another episode of What Matters Matters, where we give you guys the latest trending gist all over the world. I mean, you guys have been seeing these trends about Diddy, like news keeps coming out every single time. There's always the latest news, one after the other, about Diddy's issue. So, I mean, before I start with the first video, people have been saying that what's like why has Diddy's case been for so long? Why has he not been punished? Why are they keeping it? Like many years ago, they found out that he did so many things and they still let him go. He was still working freely instead of like passing the judgment to him directly. Now, let's watch this first video. I mean, just yesterday, there were news about him that Diddy is already facing new lawsuits. I mean, about sexual assault. And let's watch the video to see.
So here's the deal. Diddy's multiple lawsuits fall under the New York's Adult Survivors Act. Now, this is a pretty big law because it allows survivors to file claims of sexual assault even if the incident happened decades ago. Furthermore, this law allows for accusers to remain anonymous if they wish to, which, as we can understand, is a big deal and very important. Diddy is a powerful man. And in some cases, even when the men or the accuser doesn't have as much power, victims are still in danger of being intimidated. Now, this understandably has Diddy frustrated. Because let's be real, anyone dealing with a case like this, I imagine it would be tough for them to handle, no matter who they are. So Diddy is complaining that he doesn't know who's accusing him in some of these cases. So he's arguing that without the names, he can't fully defend himself or even figure out what the exact claims are about. His legal team has been pushing to have these anonymous accusers named in court, and that's where things get tricky. Because as I said, under the Adult Survivors Act, anonymity is allowed to protect alleged survivors, especially in sensitive cases like these. So this is where the court has to play a balancing act, protecting the survivors versus giving the accused a fair shot at defending themselves. But Diddy says he's the one that's at a disadvantage. And it's for the courts to weigh that against the safety and privacy of those bringing the accusations forward. For the record, I'm definitely hoping that the court decides to uphold this law because I definitely feel like these accusers need to remain anonymous. They need to be protected. And as we all know, women and children are the most vulnerable populations in this nation. They are the most underprotected populations in this nation. But as always, we've got to ask, what's your take on this? Should Diddy have the right to know who his accusers are? Or is the court doing the right thing by protecting these women's identity? Let us know in the comments. And that's all I have for you at the moment for this Diddy update.
There is a new Diddy lawsuit that I'm going to have trouble talking about on here, mainly because it's so graphic. I not only have to give you several trigger warnings, I need to watch the way in which I say things. Because frankly, I think if I say certain things that are in this lawsuit, this video will get taken down. I don't think there's going to be any way for me to make this video less than 10 minutes long. And this is the trigger warning that I'm going to give you. On the literal lawsuit documents that are 63 pages long, it says this document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including allegations of rape, assault, battery, kidnapping, and trafficking. This case is Ashley Parham versus Sean Combs, Christina Coram, Shane Pierce, John Doe's 1 and 3, and then Jane Doe. On page 6, they start to describe what happened. Plaintiff met defendant Shane in February 2018 after an altercation with another man at a bar, and defendant Shane came to the plaintiff's rescue. The plaintiff, who I'm going to refer to as Ashley, met defendant Shane in February 2018 after an altercation with another man at a bar. Shane came to Ashley's rescue. While outside the bar, Shane decides to FaceTime Diddy. And he was showing people the phone saying like, oh, this is my famous friend Diddy, wanting to impress people. However, Ashley says she was not impressed. And she said that she thought that Diddy had something to do with Tupac's passing. Diddy heard her say this and said she would pay for her statement regarding Tupac and Diddy. Fast forward to March 23rd of 2018. Shane invited Ashley over to his home to assist him with cancer medications because he stated he was weak and unable to open them. When Ashley got there, Shane said that he wanted to give her a ride in his new car. They left the residence for a brief period and then returned. When they returned, she noticed that Shane left the door to his apartment partially open. And he said that there was an issue with the door where it couldn't close completely. He was renting an apartment below a woman, and she had 2 dogs residing with her. Ashley and Shane then began to watch a movie. Shane offered her a glass of water, and this is where shit starts to get serious. Then Diddy shows up at Shane's residence, and he entered the home in a ready-to-party manner. His grandiose entrance was so loud that the dogs upstairs started barking. Along with Diddy was his bodyguard, which is considered Doe 1, Christina Quorum, who is referred to as KK, a woman she was unable to identify, who is referred to as Jane Doe, Doe 2, who is believed to be a friend of Shane and Diddy's driver, who is Doe 3. And this person remained outside the entire time. Ashley believes that Shane invited her over to set her up because of the statement she made a month prior. When Diddy arrived, he immediately began to antagonize Ashley, saying she thought she would never see him in person and pay for her statements about Tupac during the video call. Ashley was in fact in shock because she did never think that she was going to see Diddy in person. Diddy began advancing towards Ashley where she was sitting on Shane's bed. He had a knife, held it to the right side of Ashley's face, and threatened to give her a Glasgow smile. Christina Quorum then told Diddy that she did not think giving Ashley a Glasgow smile would be advantageous to their potential clients who they could sell Ashley for SEX2. Christina Quorum then made a threat to Ashley that she could ship her off to anywhere in the world and that she would never see her family or anybody that she knew ever again. Shane then partially undressed Ashley. Then Diddy removed the remainder of Ashley's clothing. He then retrieved a large bottle of liquid from his fanny pack. Diddy then squirted the whole bottle of liquid on Ashley, and it placed her in a fear, thinking that she was being squirted with some kind of chemical substance like acid. She then realized it was some kind of oil or lubricant, and it was sprayed on her entire nude body. Christina Quorum was then told by Diddy to insert what looked like a syringe from sterile packaging into Ashley's private area. Christina told Diddy that she was going to be unable to use the IUD because it had prematurely been released from its packaging. Diddy was upset by this, took the syringe from Christina, and tried inserting it into Ashley's privates. Christina and Diddy then began to argue. She was basically trying to tell him that it wasn't going to work, and he finally took her advice. Christina and Jane Doe then exited Shane's residence, leaving Ashley alone with Diddy, Shane, and Doe's 1 and 2. Diddy then picked up a television remote that was near Ashley and violently inserted it into her private area. Diddy, while violently raping Ashley with this television remote, told Ashley that her life was in his hands and that if he wanted to, he could take her and she would never be seen again. Ashley then began hysterically crying from the threats by Diddy, along with the pain of being violently raped by Diddy with the TV remote, as well as the lingering pain from the ordeal with the IUD syringe. Diddy then instructed Shane to turn Ashley on her stomach because he didn't want to hear Ashley's cries. Shane grabbed Ashley by her abdomen and hips and turned Ashley on her stomach. Shane then grabbed Ashley by her abdomen and hips and turned her on her stomach. Diddy then instructed Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries. He then instructed Shane to grape her from behind, and Shane did it. Then Diddy proceeded to do the same thing to her. Then Doe 2 joined in, and they were taking turns. Immediately after, Doe 2 exited the residence. Diddy then instructed Doe 1 to continue doing that to Ashley. Instead of immediately doing that to Ashley, Doe 1 doused Ashley with more oil lubricant and then jumped on top of Ashley's body, treating it like a slip and slide, knocking the wind out of her due to his enormous size. Doe 1 then caught himself from sliding over Ashley's body off the bed and then began raping her. While Doe 1 was doing this to Ashley, Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and then was touching himself while recording what was going on. Someone's phone fell on the bed near Ashley. Ashley attempted to grab the phone and it naturally slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil and lubricant that had been doused all over everything. Diddy was laughing at her. During this entire ordeal, Diddy was making constant belittling remarks to Ashley, including the fact that he owned her now. Ashley's body was becoming more and more limp over the course of this violence until eventually she had no control over her body, nor could she move. When everybody was done with Ashley, Christina entered the room to examine the condition of Ashley, who was barely able to move or control her bodily functions. Christina examined Ashley to see if she needed assistance and was about to give Ashley IV fluids. Ashley doesn't know if she was actually given those IV fluids. Christina then opened a different bag, different than the one Diddy removed the oil from, and Ashley observed several medicine bottles, IV fluid bags, and other unidentifiable powder-like drugs. Christina then took a pill out of one of the medicine bottles and gave it to Diddy. Diddy then inserted the pill into Ashley's mouth and down her throat to where Ashley had no choice but to ingest this pill. Diddy, Shane, Christina, and Doe 1 then exited the residence into the backyard where they smoked. Ashley remained in a almost lifeless state in Shane's bedroom until she finally regained her bodily functions. She tried looking for her belongings, could not find them, and found a t-shirt on the floor which she put over her body. She then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and headed to the backyard where they all were. That was the only way to exit the building onto the street. When she got out into the backyard, she was met by Doe 1, who was standing at the door between the residence and the backyard. Doe 1 allowed her into the backyard where Shane and Diddy were there. Nobody saw the knife that she had. She sat down on a makeshift seat in the backyard, and Diddy noticed her presence and remarked that he was surprised she was able to walk because he had given her enough drugs to take out a horse. Ashley asked Diddy, "What did you give me?" and he didn't give her a response. Diddy then made further comments to Ashley in a jovial, friendly manner, asking her why they hadn't partied together before because it was so much fun and he hadn't had an ass that tight in a while. She then began to tell Diddy that she did not party with him and she did not enjoy what happened. Diddy did not like Ashley's response to his lighthearted commentary and offered Ashley money, instructed her to say that the violent grape was consensual and that she was an sex worker. Ashley became enraged and yelled at Diddy that her grape was not consensual and that she was not an sex worker and she refused to take money from him and that she was going to tell the police.
As we've seen in the video, we're seeing that Diddy is facing new lawsuits of sexual assault and all those stuffs, and people had so many things to say about it, and they were minors at that time. One thing is, why were the people that the thing was happening to not speaking up? But people don't know, maybe they have been held, they've been dragged, or they've been told not to say anything, because in the video that we watched, he saw that they were minors. They were still minors. 25 of them were minors at that time, so they would not know about it. What do we have to say about this old Diddy's matter? Because it is one of a kind. It is confusing. New things keep coming up every day, and people are confessing how it has been around, what's everything that has been done to them by Diddy. What do we have to say about this? Is there more to this? Is there more thing around this old Diddy issue, or are there still more to be unveiled? According to the video we just watched, are there still many things that people do not even know about yet? Now, before we continue, let's watch things people had to say about Diddy, more reactions and everything around what is happening in the old Diddy's issue. Let's watch it.
Good morning to you, George. To fulfill his sexual desires, federal prosecutors have said Sean Combs abused, threatened, and coerced multiple women. He's now asking a judge to order prosecutors to identify them. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges, and his lawyers say he needs the names of the alleged victims so he can prepare a defense. Anonymous allegations, the lawyers say, have created a hysterical media circus that deprived Mr. Combs of a fair trial. The music mogul's latest accuser is identified. Her name is Ashley Parham, and she's alleging in a new civil lawsuit that Combs arranged her gang rape as payback for accusing him in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Parham says she was at an apartment in Orinda, California in March 2018 when Combs showed up with an entourage and a knife, doused her with lubricant and sexually assaulted her, and then instructed others to do the same. Combs' legal team did not respond directly to these new allegations, but referred us to earlier statements calling these claims false and absurd, guys.
It's only Monday and Diddy's already facing 7 new civil lawsuits. So it was just on Friday that we found out that Diddy's federal trial would begin on May 5th. But as you know, he's already received multiple civil lawsuits, including one from a Houston-based law firm, Tony Busby's, representing 120 alleged Diddy victims, 25 of which that claimed that they were minors at the time. TMZ writes this, it said Diddy has now been named in 6 separate lawsuits filed by Tony Busby. 4 of the 6 filed so far are featured male accusers. One of the male accusers worked for Echo Clothing back in 2008 and tells of an incident that happened behind the scenes at a Macy's flagship store where he met Diddy. Also in one of the lawsuits, this man claims that he was 16 years old when he was invited to a 1998 white party. The accuser claims that Diddy said that it was a rite of passage in order for him to touch him.
I mean, we've seen the video, we've watched it. What do we have to say about them? Like, what do we have to say about this whole thing? Because it is really triggering. People are sad. People are surprised at what is happening. People are trying to know, like, the reason behind all this thing. People are trying to, like, understand what the issue is. People are trying to dig deep to know the root of all this whole matter concerning Diddy, the sexual assault, the killings, and everything. If this is really true, some people are still saying that maybe this is a gang up against Diddy and all those things, but evidence keep coming out every day about the things that he has done. Now, let's watch this video where they were talking about the tunnel in Diddy's house, where it leads to, because it leads to so many places according to them. Now let's watch the video.
Breaking news. Finally, the list of 15 celebrities' names who attended Diddy's wild parties is shared to the public to witness. Well, if you don't know this, a new footage just dropped, and it's got some of the biggest names in Hollywood completely shaken after rumors of their participation in Diddy's secretive parties. This has become like a real-life Epstein scandal. These celebs were supposedly filmed without their knowledge, and now the tapes are out showing things that could ruin careers forever. As Diddy's in jail, his bail denied, and his legal team's desperate to get him out. But the judge says there's too much risk he might go after witnesses to protect himself. And get this too, Cassie Diddy's ex is at the center of it all. She's filed lawsuits claiming he forced her into these situations while he filmed it all. Other women are coming forward too. And now more celebrities are getting dragged into the mess. It's getting ugly, and people are so desperate to discover the names of these 15 celebrities who are named in this list.
They lead to amusement parks, they lead to hospitals, cemeteries, schools, celebrity homes. They lead everywhere.
Part 7. The FBI's investigation into the tunnels of the Diddy's mansion is finally coming to a close, and they've found more shocking new content. As I mentioned in a previously posted video, the FBI found access to Michael Jackson's basement in the Diddy's tunnels and also found a large amount of adult toys and baby oil in one of the secret rooms. But did you think that was the end of it? When the FBI temporarily left the Diddy mansion, a drone captured a suspicious figure over the mansion, zooming in. You can see that it's an old man with black hair and pale skin who appeared in the backyard for only 3 short minutes before walking back into the basement. Combined with previous clues, many people speculate that this may be Michael Jackson himself, because ever since Michael Jackson's funeral, his coffin has never been opened, so people have been questioning his death. Then again, why did he want to hide him? In the FBI's interrogation, Diddy acted very uneasy and claimed to have no knowledge of this. The FBI had no choice but to launch a deeper investigation into the mansion. This time, they are in the other side of the tunnel of the mansion, found another hidden passageway, led by a SWAT team. The FBI discovers a big, scary secret.
Now, according to the video, we can see that the tunnel in Diddy's house leads to schools, cemeteries, celebrities' homes, so many other places, leads to hospitals, leads to amusement park. And people are wondering why is it like that? I mean, despite like facing the old thing that he's facing now with that thing or with the tunnel leading to so many places, people actually think that it is right. What do we have to say about this thing? Is it right, the tunnel that he had in his house? Was everything okay, or these allegations are false? What do we think about this old Diddy's issue? Drop your opinions about it in the comment section. I know people have so many things to say about this thing. People have their own opinions. People have something to say. People that have experienced it. People, just drop it in the comment section. Tell us how you feel about this whole Diddy's issue. And also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. This channel does not support any form of violence at all. See you guys on the next episode. Bye.